Hey guys, I'm Dimension Jump, and today I'll be doing my top 5 favourite Generation 3 Pokémon. Now, with Pokémon Ruby Sapphire and their remakes, Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, I feel like they're interesting games, because my main experience of Generation 3 is from the remakes, and in the games they have very, I would say, interesting looking Pokemon to come out of their generation. And in this list, I'm just be going over some of my favourites to come out of it. So for number 5 is Agron. Now, Agron is an interesting looking Pokemon because it's one of those Pokemon that looks really intimidating and really cool to use. And I do like its design. It's kind of like this sort of giant sort of lizard looking thing. It kind of looks lizard-like, kind of. I think it's just mainly due to its design, and I do like its typing is still fighting, and yeah, that typing can help help in the long run. I would say when it comes to certain battles and stuff, especially in the psychic type gym where the two gym leaders have Solrock and Lunatone, because Agron will be able to use steel type moves to take them out. But Agron is 4 times weak to fighting, and ground as well. So that kind of there's like a huge advantage depending on which Pokemon you're fighting against. But Agron is still cool. I still think Agron is a cool Pokemon, and I do like his Mega form because it's just this. It's kind of like if Agron just got more blades and got larger, kind of. That's kind of his design for his Mega form. And I think overall he's just an interesting looking Pokemon, and I always use him in my team. For number 4 is Bayonet. Now, Bayonet kind of looks like the ghost version of Meowth, and I think that's really cool because you don't really see Pokemon that mirror each other in terms of design. The only one that I think that comes close is possibly the Pikachu clones, or maybe Mimikyu, I think. Because with the Pikachu clones, they're just Pikachu, but not. Because, they're basically that version of Pikachu in terms of the electric type, or if it's in Generation 1, it's Marill. And with Bayonet, I feel like it looks really cool, and I do like the sort of puppet sort of thing they're going for. And again, with this Mega form, I do really think it takes that puppet aspect to the next level, because the hands kind of open up, and I think the mouth does as well, and it gives it that more puppet feeling to it. And I think it makes it that much more weird and out there, and of a cool design in terms of a Mega. And for regular Bayonet, again, it looks really cool, and it does kind of look to me like a sort of if a Meowth turned into a ghost type, basically. For number 3 is Glalie. Now, Glalie is an interesting form, or interesting Pokemon, because it's one of the few Pokemon in the Pokemon series that can evolve into 2 forms, depending on which Snorunt you have. So if you have a male or female Snorunt, they can evolve into Glalie, but the female Snorunt specifically can evolve into a Frostlass. And with Glalie, I think it's basically this. It kind of to me looks like this giant snowball iceberg thing with a face and horns, and that kind of looks and feels intimidating because it's one of the few Pokemon that doesn't really have a body and kind of just floats, and that's really cool. And it's an interesting Pokemon to use because it's a full-on ice type, and I do enjoy using it. It's weird. I think it's just one of those Pokemon that to me feels weird, but in a weird way, or sort of intimidating way, or something like that. It's one of those Pokemon that just is out there, and you don't really think about it until you face up against one. So, yeah. For number 2, it's Metagross. Now, Metagross is probably one of my favourite. Is one of my favourites to come out of Generation 3, because it's really cool looking, and I do like how when you look at the Metagross line, you've got Beldum, Metang, and then Metagross, because like with Beldum it's just one sort of leg looking thing with an eye, and then with Metang it's basically two. There's basically sort of alien saucer looking thing with two arms, and then when it becomes Metagross, it's got four arms and it walks on all four legs, and that's really cool. And with Metagross, I do like its design because of the whole like steel dish thing with the arms, and I do like it being a psychic steel type, because that's you don't really see that in Pokemon, like in terms of the steel psychic type. The only other ones I can think of is Bronzong from Generation 4, and I do like the huge X on the middle of his face. I think that's really cool. And with this Mega form, I do like how it now floats and it's got all arms interconnected together. That's really cool, and it feels very different, because it feels like the regular form makes it more steel type, and then its Mega form makes it more psychic type, and that's really cool. And it changes. I think with regular Metagross and Mega Metagross, you can really clearly see which aspect of its type that it's using when using either form. And for number 1 is Sceptile. Now Sceptile is probably my favorite starter in the out of the 3 starters in this generation, and I think it's really cool because it's just this giant lizard thing, and it's really cool because I do like how it's got the huge tail behind it. It's got like these sort of like leaf blade things on its arm, and again, I know I'm going to repeat myself because like this Sceptile also has a Mega form, and with Mega Sceptile it's got like I believe 2 leaf blades on the side of its arms, like 2 on each side. Its tail sort of grows, and on its back it's got like a sort of red and yellow colour scheme, and that's really cool. And I do like how in both the game and the anime, Sceptile's or Mega Sceptile's tail is able to detach. That's really cool, and I think you don't really see that in like a lot of Mega forms, because a lot of things are just there, and you don't normally see parts of Pokemon detach themselves, and Sceptile is probably the only or Mega Sceptile is probably the only Mega Pokemon that can do this, and it's really fun. And I do enjoy how Mega Sceptile gains the Dragon type. That's really cool, and I think it's really cool just to see Sceptile just going on. I think what I'm trying to say is Sceptile is probably the most, I think, one of the useful ones in probably Generation 3 when it comes to the gyms, and depending on which version of Evil Team you have or other games, because like Sceptile is really useful against Team Aqua, and it's also good against several other gyms like the final one, which is the water gym, the psychic type gym because of Solrock and Lunatone being part rock type, the very first one, which is also I think a rock one as well. So yeah, I think Sceptile is a really fun, interesting Pokemon, and I think it's one of my personal favourites from Generation 3. So that's been my top 5 favourite Generation 3 Pokemon. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.